So for those that haven't seen this before, it's an old sampler. It's the precursor to the 404. It has a very basic chipset, very basic functionality, and only a few effects. And sort of the limitations you find in the functionality of everything is sort of where the magic comes in with this guy. I want to start though by just talking about the tone. It kind of takes the tone of the samples, whatever you put into it, it sort of like takes it in a certain direction. So that's where we'll start. There's 4 quality settings, and you have to decide them before you record the sample. Hi-Fi, Standard, Lo-Fi 1, and Lo-Fi 2. So we're going to record the same arpeggio from the Digitone in all 4 settings, 1, 2, 3, 4. So here's that arpeggio, and we're recording in Hi-Fi first. Here we go. So there's number 1. I'm going to go through the rest, and I'm not going to worry too much about timing. Alright, so Hi-Fi. You can already hear things are downsampled a bit, still nice and bright. Standard. A little bit noisier. Lo-Fi 1. Big difference. And Lo-Fi 2. Hi-Fi, Standard, Lo-Fi 1, Lo-Fi 2. So I like all of these in different ways. I find the Lo-Fi ones to be the most fun with the effects. Feels like the effects impact them more. But they all sound nicely downsampled in different ways. Alright, so let's start messing around with the effects. I find myself only using pitch, filter 1, filter 2, and ring mod. Actually, mostly pitch, filter 2, and ring mod. So we're going to focus on those ones. Let's start with pitch. So that's just a basic tape speed control. Doesn't have a huge range. I wish it went a lot lower, and higher would be nice too. But it's nice to have it there, especially when you're combining samples from different sources. But we'll just leave it in the middle for now. Let's go to filter 1. This has the sound of a pretty standard filter with the resonance up a little bit. Okay, filter 2. This is where things get a little more interesting. I think they're creating this filter, probably both filters, via some sort of interesting all-pass filter / phasing effect. It doesn't quite sound like a full-on filter. It's a little bit distorted. It's a little bit phasey. And it will peak if you pick out resonances, which I kind of like. So it almost feels like filter 2 is sort of halfway in the direction of a ring mod, which, let's go to the ring mod, this is probably my favorite part. This is where things go crazy. You get a lot of nice tones this way. Okay, so that was all on the Hi-Fi sample. And it's a good opportunity to bring up the EQ on this. So I actually like to do some EQing after the fact on this, and I'm going to add that now. I have lows and highs here, and I've had it zeroed out, but now I'm going to turn the lows all the way up, which I really like to do after this, and then bring the highs up a bit too. So we have a kind of a smile EQ that's weighted towards the low end. So let's hear that same sound. Now, something like that, where you can hear the lows really come through. And the crispness of those highs, all that artifacting up there, super nice. Alright, let's go to the next sample. Filter 2. So we're on standard quality now. Even more clippy at this point. And ring mod. Oh yeah, that's great. I'm gonna bring some reverb in. I wish there were a way to automate this. Put an LFO on it or something. Oh, that's good. Alright, let's go to the next one. Lo-Fi 1 with filter 2. That's pretty cool. And ring mod. Instantly good. Obviously that takes it into more of a percussive realm. You're losing the pitch information. But I dig it. Like, that's so good. Alright, and Lo-Fi 2. Really nice. Ring mod. Alright, so you can hear how there's all that beautiful digital artifacting. It has an almost video gamey quality. And I feel like this kind of digital degradation, while you can create something like this in a modern DAW, you don't get quite the same tone. Something about these old chipsets. Okay, but now we're going to take this another direction. We're going to switch over to mic as the input, and I'm going to use this basic little mic that's built in. So I find that the combination of the sound of this mic with the degradation that happens naturally inside the 202 can be really nice. So I actually use the mic and even the exterior of the unit itself as sort of an instrument. But then I also like just recording sounds into it, like myself snapping or hitting something. So I'm going to do a little bit of that. And again, I'm going to go through all four. I'm going to tap this thing and snap on each one of them. So here we go. All right, let's hear those. Hi-fi. Put that pitch back in 12 o'clock. Standard. Lo-fi. All right, and now let's start having some fun with them with the filter 2 and the ring mod. Oh, that's nice. A little bit ringy, I like that. Very clear artifacting. And the last one. Alright, so a little bit of percussion stuff, just using the built-in mic. And next up we're going to dive in to one of the first things I made on this when I got this, which I had a lot of fun with in surprising ways. I found, like I said earlier, the limitations of this box to be sort of where the magic is found. So for example, maybe there's a way to make loops sync up, but I haven't figured it out yet, and I'm kind of enjoying the asynchronous loop sort of feel of this. It has a very 90s quality in the downsampling, and then also in the fact that there's no fades at the beginning or end of the sample, so you get a pop anytime there's sound at the beginning and ending of the sample. I kind of dig the pop. It feels very like a 90s oval record or something. And it's just interesting how these old pieces of hardware, some of them, a select few, kind of have value in ways that I'm sure the makers of them did not intend. It's almost as if all the errors that this thing sort of forces on you has its own sort of musical value in the context of everybody having a DAW and being able to do everything perfectly and cleanly. So in that way, it's a lot like working with tape loops, which I think is part of why I'm sort of attracted to this guy. Anyway, so I'm going to make some music with, like I said, some of the first samples I put on this thing. Here we go. Alright, thanks for checking out the video. I will catch you next time.